Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel, thank you. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Perfect World based on novel. So let's start. Information on his grandfather. All of you better behave yourselves. Don't think that just because one person broke out that all of you have hope of breaking free. Let me tell you all right now that something like that is just wishful thinking. A prison chief waved the long black whip in his hands. Lightning power flickered about, and with a sound, it landed on several convicts' bodies, lacerating their flesh, and causing blood to splash outwards. There wasn't any rights or freedom to speak of here. That single-armed fella can't live long. Even though he escaped, there is no place for him to survive in on this fiend island. He definitely already died in the depths of the island. The prison chief was vicious, severely warning these prisoners that hadn't been locked up for a long time, telling them that if any of them dared to flee, they would be slaughtered immediately. They all had fetters and handcuffs on made from special materials. There was no lack of powerful supreme experts among them, but after putting on these shackles, they couldn't rebel at all. They all became prisoners. Let me tell you guys that forget about you guys, even if it was a deity, they would still have to obediently follow the rules and cannot act wantonly. The prison chief berated and threatened. He pointed forward and said, "Do you see? Inside that ancient mine are creatures that have ignited their divine flames. There are several tens of them, all obedient and not daring to play any tricks. It is because they knew that the result of challenging authority is death. The ancient mine was quite special. It released auspicious light, clearly containing divine materials. It was one of the most precious great mines, but the curse inside of this place was even stronger. Only extremely powerful individuals could mine there. Apart from this, there was a stone mountain next to this ancient mine. On top of it hung 6 or 7 corpses, all of them eroded by the harsh weather, but a weak light still burned within them. They were all creatures that ignited their divine flames. This was a powerful intimidation. Even deities were killed, warning everyone that those who dared to rebel and tried to break out would only have one end, death. Xiahao and several hundred others arrived here, calmly watching. They weren't prisoners, so they naturally wouldn't receive any punishment. They were just watching this scene of warning. Grandfather had broken through his shackles and successfully broke out. Is he still on this island? Xiahao said to himself. He was extremely worried. This island was dangerous. Everyone, this way please. Someone guided Xiahao's group of outsiders, leading them into the mining region along an alley. There were many ancient mines here. Some had already been excavated for several tens of thousands of years, but they were still being mined. Large holes could be seen on the ground one after another. They were all numbered. Some mines were quite special, one could see multicolored light rising from them even from far away. They contained formidable items inside. Unfortunately, these mines were not open to outsiders, and only divine-level prisoners were allowed to mine them. It was because regardless of what was unearthed, they all had to be turned over. The reason outsiders were able to come was due to the pressure black prison faced from the various sects, so they had no choice but to open up a portion to the outside world. There was one other important reason, and it was that this place was too hard to excavate. One needed true experts to go deep inside to obtain anything. It was dangerous and troublesome. Xiahao didn't come here to mine, and only came to find clues about his grandfather. However, when he truly approached this place, he was still a bit shocked. There were treasures in the depths of the earth that hid good stuff, and he personally saw someone dig up a great piece of divine material. It was a piece of strange crystal that was sparkling and translucent. There was a trace of lightning sealed within, the electric light especially dazzling. It was fixed there and did not rush out. Good stuff. This is divine Dao lightning, enough to startle the big figures. The prison chief exulted. He ordered someone to collect it and carefully seal it inside of a precious case. Fiend Island was under the control of several great powers, the most powerful among them being Immortal Mountain, who was able to direct everything here. It could be said that half of the resources on this island belonged to the Qin clan. If this crystal was respectfully offered up, it would definitely bring about joy and reward from the higher-ups. For experts that cultivated lightning, this type of lightning was a treasure. Xiahao was moved. He looked at that streak of lightning and vaguely discovered some symbols hidden within. I guess I'll stay here for a bit of time, searching for grandfather's clues and simultaneously try my luck. Shahao said inwardly. In the following half a month, Shahao entered the ancient mine and began to participate in the excavation. Only when he truly began did he understand how terrifying this island was. Only when he entered the depths of the earth would one be infected by the curse. After returning to the surface, one needed to spend twice the amount of time cleansing oneself. Meanwhile, the strength of the curse was directly proportional to one's cultivation. Rumors had it that if sect master level figures came here, the power of the curses they suffered would be the greatest, enough to trigger heaven's tears and cause blood to descend from the sky. It was extremely sinister, and thunder would rumble. There was a terrifying legend that there had been a sect master that fell here. That was why normally, those top-level figures wouldn't appear here out of fear of producing some type of accidental result. These ores are too hard, even more tough than metal, Shahao said to himself. The underground, or was not something those that didn't reach king level could move. It was extremely difficult even for supreme experts. During this period of time, Shahao entered several different ancient mines and purposely approached the jailers and convicts. He obtained quite a bit of information. Do you see that jailer? He wanted to strangle that single-armed expert to death before, but in the end, he was almost killed instead by that shackled single-armed fella. He inadvertently obtained a piece of news that made Shahao feel extremely nervous. His eyebrows jumped, and he almost erupted with killing intent. Someone tried to strangle his grandfather to death. This made him burn with fury. Grandpa 15 had once been in such danger, almost being harmed to death here. He looked forward. It was a prison chief with a head of grey hair at the supreme expert level. He held a whip that radiated dark light, currently thrashing it at a group of prisoners. His cheekbones were tall and his lips thin. His eyes were like those of a snake's, and his entire body looked harsh. Those prisoners that were a bit slower would receive a lash. His name was Qin Qingshang. He looked like he was 50 or 60 years old. His true age was unknown. How did my grandfather provoke you for you to almost strangle him to death? Shahao clenched his fists inwardly. He knew without even thinking too deeply that Grandpa 15 had an unyielding character. After receiving humiliation and torment, he would definitely retaliate. Look, those others are from the Qin clan as well. They all made things difficult for that single-armed fella, nitpicking and wishing to immediately kill him. Shahao didn't even have to pry into it. Someone else asked, which was the same as helping him get more information. I heard that the single-armed person had a divine pill, and before it was discovered, it was fed to a young lady, making many people from the Qin clan furious. As a result, he was sent here together with a group of prisoners. The jailer said softly. He came from another great power that didn't get along that well with the Qin clan disciples, so he dared to expose this information. Shahao remained silent. He had heard a long time ago in the lower realm, that when his grandfather broke out from the Black Forest restricted land, apart from bringing out divine magical artifacts, he also obtained a divine pill that was of astonishing value. The elder brought that rare divine pill excitedly back to Stone Country to have Shahao eat it, but in the end, he was completely disappointed. After such a long time had passed, Grandpa 15 still carried it with him, making Shahao feel warmth, but also a type of suffocating feeling, as well as a sensation of bitterness. His grandfather lost an arm, so if he ate that divine pill, he definitely could have grown another one, yet he was reluctant to do so, leaving it behind for him the entire time. Rumor has it that Qin Qingshang had a formidable grandson, an extremely well-known genius in the Qin clan named Qin Mu. The divine pill was precisely discovered by him. Needless to say, Qin Qingshang felt great hatred because of this. If his grandson obtained that divine pill, it would have solidified his Tao foundation and allowed his cultivation to sharply rise. As for Shahao, he was enduring his anger, calming his own mood. His eyes were deep. He looked towards Qin Qingshang and a few others that weren't too far away. Was the divine pill eaten by a man? Where is she right now? Shahao asked inwardly in a quiet voice. That single-armed man was the only one that successfully broke out in 100 years. How exactly did he do such a thing? Someone couldn't help but ask. He dug out something amazing, and when it was unearthed, brilliant radiance shone, lighting up the entire ancient mine. That single-armed man was also decisive, directly devouring it. The jailer felt that it was quite a pity, but even more so felt an endless jealousy. What kind of thing was it exactly? Everyone asked. I do not know. Either way, after he ate it, that single-armed man's entire body shone, and the shackles were directly broken. He erupted with power and almost slapped Qin Cheng Shong rotten. He then slaughtered his way out. Grandpa 15 unleashed a great slaughter, killing several dozen Qin clan experts, and fled this region, entering the depths of the dangerous area. Then, he was never seen again. What about the girl that ate the divine pill? Was she not sent to Fiend Island? Someone asked. She was not. She remained in Immortal Mountain. Thus, Shahao understood what happened, smoothly obtaining information about his grandfather and a man. A wave of anger burned within his heart, one that jumped about intensely. He was originally going to immediately leave this place for the other half, the true dangerous area of Fiend Island, but he temporarily endured that urge. Otherwise, it would appear a bit too sudden. After understanding that there might be unusual treasures here, Shahao was moved as well. He had used the dual pupils many times before and operated his symbol divine force to the limit to investigate this place. There really are great treasures. Several days later, after Shahao entered the depths of the old mine, he used the dual pupil again. When he carefully observed this place, he found an astonishing auspicious omen. In the very depths of the stone layer, there was a radiance that was even more brilliant than a sun. It was radiating light, as if it was going to blind that dual pupil. What kind of item is that? Shahao was extremely shocked. He realized that he had found a rare treasure with the dual pupil. It should be extremely heaven-defying. Once this type of thing was unearthed, it would most likely trigger a tremendous sensation. He immediately woke up the divine striking stone, plotting with it about how to excavate it. We have to find a way. If there is no way, then let's just start something big. Open up Black Prison and free all of the prisoners trapped here by Immortal Mountain. Shahao said to himself. He already understood that there were many captives imprisoned in Black Prison that were previously opposed to Immortal Mountain. If he opened up this place, it would raise a huge storm. Rumors had it that there were a few true deities that were suppressed in Black Prison. Shahao frowned and with a sigh, he said, there is some hidden danger. If Black Prison really has a true deity sealed here, once released, we will be in danger as well. We can't fight against it at all. This problem was extremely serious. Even if one was to take a risk for wealth and move during the chaos, it would still only be worth it if they were alive afterwards. The divine striking stone was extremely careful, sensing an unusual aura here. It left the ore mine and gazed into the metal prison. Its mind immediately trembled. This Black Prison was covered in symbols. The natural laws were complex and mysterious. Its mind shivered inwardly. This was a formation left behind by a sect master level figure. It was vast and great, difficult to break into. We cannot act indiscriminately. This formation is too formidable. I most likely cannot break through it. The effects of this matter were too great. The two of them researched for a long time and deduced that there were even more complex great formations inside the depths of the black imprisonment created from the hands of higher realms giants, making them even more careful. Even though I really want to bring Immortal Mountain a nice surprise, releasing all of their enemies, but it's difficult. Shahao shook his head. Then, they reached the surface. Shahao chatted with the others on Fiend Island, learning some astonishing information. This entrapment was formidable. There might be a heavenly deity seal here, one that has existed for an incomparably long amount of time, surviving this entire time. However, no one has seen it before, so it is just a legend. However, at the very depths of Black Prison is a restricted land that not even the prison heads, who ignited their divine flames, would willingly step into. They wouldn't easily approach that place. Several days later, a disturbance broke out again, because there were people who died from mining for several days in a row. Several corpses were brought out. Many prisoners became angry. Since they were going to die anyway, what was there to be fearful of? This triggered an extremely serious result. Great oppression would inevitably lead to retaliation. We should move during the chaos. Shahao decisively took action. During these days, he and the divine striking stone researched for a long time, feeling that they could break through the outermost layer of the prison while still guaranteeing that they didn't get dragged in themselves and wouldn't be detected. However, if they wanted to carry out a large-scale action, then that would be impossible. After all, this was a strategic location. If it was that easy to break through, someone would have successfully released the prisoners a long time ago. The divine striking stone had spent the past few days underground. It could travel through the earth and set up some things in the outermost layer of the prison. It had already set up its preparations, and now, they were about to start the operation. No one will find any clues. Shahao asked. They won't. This is a natural law formation. I used the dual pupil and found a few terrifying streaks of lightning in the depths of the earth and cleverly guided them over, making people think that it was brought about by the mines themselves. The lightning radiance hidden in the earth will then explode. The rarest resources within Fiend Island was without a doubt the demonic sovereign's blood. Only, it has been many tens of thousands of years since a drop had been found. Apart from this, there was also the forbidden power that remained from the immortal Dao lightning tribulation. Shahao and the divine striking stone entered the depths of the ancient mine, and then they triggered the lightning power buried underneath. This power was sealed within a special material, and at this moment, it erupted. The entire world became different. Foundational energy undulated intensely. Divine radiance surged. Kill. Someone used this to break free from his restrictions. In addition, symbols flickered about this individual's body, using a special secret method to recover his fighting strength. Then, with bloodshot eyes, he slaughtered towards the jailers and helped the surrounding people break free from their shackles, as well and releasing them from their restrictions. This was a huge rebellion. It was precisely at this moment that Shahao went underground, breaking through the tough rock layers to approach the earth treasure. He and the divine striking stone were both shocked. As soon as they broke through the stone layers, they found that the foundational energy here was surging and brilliant radiance erupted. There was actually a plant that took root here, shining even more brilliantly than a sun. This was a bizarre grass that was golden and transparent. It had 5 leaves total. Lightning radiance curled up about it, and pipa sounds crackled. It erupted with the endless power of lightning, great natural luck. What kind of grass is this? It actually contains such powerful lightning. The divine striking stone was shocked. As soon as he approached, even before it truly made contact with it, it was already sent tumbling outwards by an electrical arc. Meanwhile, the blazing radiance surged out of the ancient mine. Even though Shahao and the divine striking stone quickly used a formation to seal it, there was still electrical radiance that seeped out, shining dazzlingly. Fortunately, they had long made preparations. They already triggered a great chaos, so the ancient mines and prison were all suffering lightning attacks. Otherwise, this type of radiance would definitely have shocked everyone here. It was just too brilliant. According to legend, when the immortal Dao lightning descended, it destroyed the demonic sovereign on the island. Could it be these symbols? Just the thought alone made him excited. Hurry, seal it up, or else the energy waves and lightning outside won't be able to hide this place's abnormality either. The divine striking stone urged. Even though they had stirred up a rebellion, they had to move quickly. Both of them joined hands, sealing up this stalk of grass and rock, putting them into the interior space of the divine-grade magical artifact Demon Fall Pestle. Then, the divine striking stone swallowed the Demon Fall Pestle in one go, keeping it within its body. Its stomach was like a small world, able to isolate auras. Go. The two individuals quietly returned to the surface. On the surface, great chaos was happening, shouts of slaughter resounded through the skies. Many convicts had been freed of their shackles, helping each other break through the restrictions. Their eyes were bloodshot as they slaughtered through this place. Shahao secretly took action, helping a few individuals recover their freedom. This created a snowball effect. The prisoners in the nearby ancient mines all rose up in rebellion. This was a catastrophic result. Even though there were creatures that had ignited their divine flames oppressing this place, there were similar level convicts that freed themselves from their restrictions. The most terrifying great battle erupted, escape. At this moment, apart from a few prisoners, there were a few jailers and outsiders that came to mind that were fleeing into the distance, not willing to get caught up in this terrifying divine-level battlefield. You all aren't allowed to leave. A few prison chiefs tried to stop them, but there were too many people, all of them rushing in every direction, so how could they stop them all, kill all of those who have rebelled without mercy? Qin Qingshan roared. He tried to stop them with everything he had, because once they looked into who was to blame for this, he would have to take a bit of responsibility as well. It was because his ancient mine was the first one that a rebellion broke out within. Shahao intentionally passed by this place, taking action in the chaos. His hands formed a palm imprint that released lightning radiance. A fist smashed over. Qin Qingshan was incomparably cold. He faced everyone with a nasty grin, but soon after, his expression froze. One of his arms immediately exploded, and then the blood turned into ashes under the lightning radiance. What kind of power did Shahao have now? He was a cultivator at the supreme expert realm. If it wasn't the most powerful figures like exceptional talents, who could stop him? Who are you? Qin Qingshan felt as if something wasn't right, and cried out with horror. Such a powerful supreme expert, yet so young, was too rare. This was definitely a well-known young heavenly genius. Shahao's pupils were ice cold. The other party actually dared to try to strangle his grandfather, so this person was long dead in his eyes. He didn't say anything and took action again. Shahao's second fist smashed outwards. Lightning erupted. Qin Qingshan's body immediately exploded, but the blood and other parts quickly dried up, turning into nothing under the electricity. Even though Fiend Island was covered in dense mists, there were still a few Qin clan disciples that saw this. They all couldn't help but cry out in shock. This type of method was too tyrannical and terrifying, more formidable than those geniuses of the Qin clan. It left them shaking in fear. With a raise of Shahao's finger, several streaks of lightning pierced through the space between their brows. Blood poured out, and then another expanse of scorched blackness could be seen. Several heads tumbled downwards. Many people were fleeing, some leaving Fiend Island, others hiding in the edge of the safe region of the island in wait for this great chaos to end. Shahao was quite unhurried. He entered the other region, Fiend Island's truly uninhabited area. It was the dangerous region. The mist in this region was even thicker. As soon as he walked in, he felt the danger of getting lost. In addition, lightning would streak past from time to time, producing blinding radiance. What an incredible place. Shahao wasn't frightened but instead happy, because he felt a type of lightning down natural law power. If he cultivated here, he might be able to comprehend something. This was especially the case since he dug up that strange golden grass from the ancient mines. There were clearly mysterious symbols flickering about inside, perfect for researching here. Grandfather, are you here? Shahao walked inside, feeling quite uneasy inside. He truly wished to reunite with his grandfather again. Shahao headed inside. The great mists and electricity were related. Sounds rang through the air. After traveling several thousand zhong inwards, a scarlet radiance streaked across, bringing with it the sound of thunder. He didn't move out of the way. The scarlet electrical arc hacked down, making contact with his extended palm. A brilliant rain of light, that was wicked-looking and beautiful, was produced. Shahao shivered inwardly. This electrical arc's power was great, making even his fingers feel a bit numb. His flesh was far more powerful than that of a normal supreme expert, and exceeded that of most precious artifacts. After walking several tens of li, Shahao noticed many corpses along the way. These had been accumulated over endless years. The bones that were left behind were all scorched black. One could see how miserable they were before their death. Suddenly, he felt a slight chill. He immediately turned his head, and what he saw was a pair of scarlet eyes that opened. Then, lightning erupted, hacking towards him. Under KACHA sounds, lightning radiance flew out streak after streak. They were accompanied with crazy winds, making the enormous rocks on the ground fly everywhere. This was a creature that wasn't weak. Shahao stood sideways, avoiding this streak of electricity. His eyes flickered with radiance. He cried out with shock. This was a fish. Its entire body was covered in silvery white scales that carried electrical radiance. It was over 10 meters in length. It opened its bloody mouth and released electricity. The fish itself swam over through the void. There were no great rivers, no lakes. Episode 117 Part 1 end here. Thank you for watching.